guys, and welcome to the Because Maybe Podcast Extra, right here on the official YouTube channel of the Because Maybe Podcast and on the official Facebook page of the Because Maybe Podcast. I hope everybody's doing well. First thing I want to do is thank you for taking the time to listen to this and wish everybody a happy 2018. I know 2017 for some people was a little bit, myself included. That was more on a personal level than anything else, but, 2018 is going to be fantastic, and I think the only difference is mindset, and a lot of people are going to, change their ways, and they're going to do the usual things people do in the new year, and I, support every single one of you, and I hope everybody does what they need to do when they do it well. I wanted to do today's kind of extra episode, kind of like a State of the Union type thing, Queen's Speech, whatever you want to call it, just an update on the status of everything that's going on right now. I know we haven't dropped an episode for a couple of weeks because we are in between seasons right now, and I just wanted to give everybody just kind of where we're going, what we plan on do, and, just what we want to do to take this podcast to the next level. So if you can give me like a couple of minutes of your time, I can, kind of do that for you. We are planning on starting our new season on the 4th of February, 2018. That's Sunday, the 4th of February. We are planning on doing a 3-part special on the Women of Rock. Basically, female artists who were fantastic in the 90s and still are today, but just how they made our break. And I'm going to be joined by my wife, who is a musical expert, and especially with this kind of genre of music, and I'm going to be looking forward to having her. Like I said, 3-part episode. That's a good way to start us off, and we are going to be expanding what we do. We have a couple of new ideas that we want to run. We have a couple of new segments that we want to run, and it's going to be fantastic compared to the last season. Now, the last season was kind of, I want to say, my test run, so to speak, ironing out the kinks, ironing out the schedule, everything, so on and so forth. This season is going to be twice as big as the last one. So instead of doing 12 episodes, we are going to go through 25 episodes of the Because Maybe podcast. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fantastic. And we've got some good ideas too. We range from everything from talking about some hip young political leaders to The Simpsons, keeping our reviews of certain cult movies and music, just stuff like that. And, I want to keep it going, and I want us to still be, active and fun in everything that we do. And one of the things that I'm happy about that we did last season was the amount of research that went into a lot of these episodes. I felt like I did good research, and maybe not the best, but definitely good enough to, talk about what we're going to talk about. And, that's one of the things I'm going to keep going right now, is to keep us, high on research, make sure everything we say is as accurate as possible, and, stuff that I don't have to apologize for or flat out get wrong. So, but I want to increase our audience too. And guys, if you like this podcast, if you've liked the page, share it to your friends. Let them know that there's something you can listen to. Let them know that there's something fun to listen to. Not necessarily just for 90s kids, so on and so forth. I kind of hate that term. But for people who grew up in the era, kind of people who have a strong nostalgia bone, let them know this is what we have, this is what we do. We're looking back at all the things that, somebody my age, from like about, mid-30s to late 20s, late 20s to mid-30s, excuse me, just stuff that we grew up with, stuff that we can look back in nostalgia and go, oh man, that was brilliant, that was fantastic. That's one of the reasons I started doing this podcast like the way it was. I felt like I've listened to some stuff, and, it just felt like it was more trying to be the 90s again, as opposed to looking back at it, so that's just me. But I want to get the listenership up, so if you like the page, if you like the podcast, please share it with your friends, please share it with people who might like it. It'll be good for them, it'll be good for us too. We can increase our audience and do more. We are looking at building a website that'll be ready around about mid-March, so that's one thing that I'm looking forward to. It's going to be very, very cheesy 90s. That was my decision. If not, I'll convert it to a proper website. But also, we're looking at bringing more things to you guys. Like, I said at the beginning that I wanted this to be as big as possible. Now, I'm not looking for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of listeners and all that nonsense. But I want to treat it like I am getting that. So we are going to be improving things. We're going to be a more professional operation than what we were last time out. I know I had some problems with scheduling with a couple of episodes. My computer died during the last week. The last couple of episodes, Pulp Fiction with the fantastic Molly Watson, I couldn't get it out on time because of computer issues. So, that's one thing I'm hoping to avoid, and I'm hoping to work a couple of weeks in advance and so on and so forth. But I want to make it as professional as possible. I want to get the brand as professional as possible. And so by doing that, there's going to be things that you would see on a small podcast, YouTube channel endeavor. There's things like, you can get a t-shirt or, donate to keep the lights on and so on and so forth. But I haven't figured that out yet, but I figured that's coming around the corner, and so I'd let you guys know about that. We have made some subtle tweaks to the format, which you'll hear in the first episode. And I need to ask before I start recording, are you guys, I mentioned earlier I didn't want to be too 90s. I didn't want to use 90s slang, and, I just wanted to look back at the decade, kind of, not historically, but, definitely reviewing rather than being a part of it. You guys are my audience. You guys make sure that I stay on the air. You guys make sure that I can still make these. Do I need to go more 90s with this? Do I need to start using 90s catchphrases and, stuff like that? Be as cheesy as possible? Or do I keep the somewhat professional environment that I'm trying to pull off right now? I'm asking you guys this help because genuinely this is my first big endeavor like this. And I've never really been good at doing my own thing by myself. So I need some help. I need some people to collaborate with me. And with all due respect to the people who have helped me, with the Sarahs, the Mollys, the Gregs, and so on and so forth, they've been fantastic. But it's a very, very contained audience. And don't get me wrong, Sarah's my wife, love her to death. Greg and Molly, two fantastic people who I love and adore, and I think they're fantastic. And, they've helped me immensely, and, love them to death. But at the same time, I need to expand my horizons. That's one of the things I believe in. The more input that I get, the better output I can deliver. I'm also still looking for help. Now, look, I know I've asked this a few times. I'm not very good at running social media pages. I'm not. I'm a very, very technical guy when it comes to making a product. I'm a sound engineer, I'm a voice talent, voice actor, whatever you want to call it, voiceover guy. So I know how to twiddle knobs and record audio and so on and so forth, not necessarily how to market myself, and that's something I need help with. I'm not asking for somebody to come over and take over my pages and run them for me, not at all, but I am asking if somebody does run a Facebook page, if somebody does run a YouTube channel, how do you go about getting yourself out there? How do you do what you do? I need some advice. I want to pick your brains a little bit, not necessarily asking you to do something for me, but just give me like an hour of your time so I can ask some questions and, get some answers. So that way I can improve us and get our audience better and get our, universe taken care of, so to speak. Especially though for your Facebook and a YouTube page, because that's what I'm looking for right now. Talking of more people, I am looking to bring in more guests. I am looking to trying to bring in some more people because I know that some of the subjects I'm talking about next season, my trio of Greg, Sarah, and Molly are not necessarily fans of or have in-depth knowledge of. So, I need to see if anybody wants to be on the podcast, if anybody wants to talk about some of the things that we have coming on next season. And what I'll do is I'll post next season's subject schedule on the Facebook page, the Tumblr page, everything like that, as well as update the blog with it. If you guys are interested in talking and you have a Skype connection, it has to be Skype. I can't verify that enough. It has to be Skype. If you guys have a Skype connection, I am willing to, to see how you go, and we'll go ahead and we'll have some stuff. There are some stuff that I know that my wife can talk about, that Greg can talk about, and that Molly can talk about. But at the same time, I don't want to assume that just because they can, that they are nailed on to be guests. Now, they are going to be, hopefully, going to be coming on next season. I know Sarah definitely is, and I've got to speak with Greg and Molly to confirm it, but I want more people. I want more voices on here. I want more people to look at us and go, man, this is what we did, this is what we loved, and this is what we were going to do. I'm also going to start doing something just a little different in regards to a couple of the things. Now, I know I'm going to tweak the format a little bit of the podcast, but I know I had social media questions in the last season, and they were kind of hit and miss, and it really, really felt weird to me of putting a social media question of Groundhog Day on the Groundhog Day episode, then answering it on the Britpop episode, or whatever episode was next to it, and it kind of felt a little out of place. So what I'm going to do is starting this week to get everything moving, I'm going to be asking the social media question across our social media platforms and trying to get answers and, so that I can incorporate them into the episode. So, if I'm talking about The Simpsons this week, I'm going to have the answer to the social media question before I record the episode. Does that make sense? So that's kind of what we're looking at doing. I'm also looking to put in more content on the YouTube channel. I've got some ideas that I want to run by, and I've got to go out about it. This has been a very, very successful start for me. You guys in the episodes that we've created have basically doubled my expectations, and now I'm hungry for more. So I want I want more people. You know, it is refreshing looking at the podcast, and we see that we have people listening in Trinidad and Algeria and South Africa and Germany and, you know, the UK and the US. And you know, I'd like to move into Canada. I'd like to move into Australia. You know, I'd like to move into Europe more. I'd like to move into Africa more. The only thing I don't have is a listener in Asia. That's my thing. I want to get some listeners in Asia. But that makes me humbled that my voice, albeit on a very, very minute scale, has been heard all around the world talking about something that I feel passionate about. And you know, it's like I said, it was a dream of mine to do radio. And I know radio is not exactly the coolest thing in the world right now in terms of shows, but at the same time, podcasting is kind of a very, very good facsimile. So, you know, it's been fun. It's been fantastic. And you know what? Those 12 episodes brought out a lot in me in terms of confidence and creativity. And I'm hoping that these next 25 that we will be launching February 4th will be just as good as the others. So, guys, if you are on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, at Because Maybe Pod. Look us up on our YouTube channel, which is where this is coming from. Also, our Facebook page, which is where this is coming from, too. We have a blog that we're going to start updating again. And you know what? We're going to kick ass next year and be one of the best emerging young podcasts out there. So, if you like what you hear, share us. If you don't like what you hear, share us anyway, just to give us a little boost. And I will talk to each and every one of you starting February 4th. Everybody have a good week. Have a great 2018. See you soon.